After school, the gates were a chaotic mess of kids. I stood behind my egg sandwich stand, my hands moving with the precision of a factory line, cracking eggs and flipping bread. The heat from the griddle mixed with the boisterous shouts. Coins clinked rhythmically into my cash box, my regulars didn't even wait for change. "Belle, extra egg and sausage for me, please." "I'll grab it on my way back," one kid would shout. "Belle, mine too, just like his, but make it extra spicy," another would chime in. "Belle, I want extra pickles on mine." My shirt was soaked with sweat, but I kept a bright smile on my face. "You got it, don't you worry, I'll take care of every single one of you." From the stand next to mine, a scoff. "That girl," a sharp voice grated, "always so loud, running her business like a circus. Doesn't she know how it affects everyone else? So thick-skinned." Ever since I'd set up my sandwich cart here, her hot dog stand had been noticeably emptier. I didn't bother to reply, simply flicking my wrist to spread the egg evenly across the griddle. I took a deep breath, then intentionally raised my voice. "Funny, I thought I heard a dog barking." A ripple of laughter went through the students. The hot dog lady sputtered, her face turning a mottled purple, and she silently dragged her cart a few feet further down the street. A familiar little girl tiptoed closer, whispering, "Don't mind her, Belle. Her hot dogs are expensive and taste awful. Everyone's tired of them." We complained a few times, even just asking for extra sauce, and she'd yell at us. Nobody in my class buys from her anymore. "Heh, your sandwiches are the best, Belle, so crispy and flavorful." I grinned from ear to ear. "You're a straight shooter, kid, I like that about you. Later, I'll give you a free grilled cheese with extra cheese." The girl nodded, beaming, her eyes sparkling with support. Knowing I was earning money for my tuition, some of the kids even brought their friends to buy from me, and over time, because the food was genuinely good, I built up a solid base of regulars. They waited for me every day. My hands never stopped moving as I worked, listening to their endless school chatter. Then, a high-pitched male voice cut through the air. "Well, aren't you a generous proprietor, giving things away as you work?" I turned. A tall, competent young man stood there, his slanted eyes slightly narrowed, a half-teasing, half-probing smile on his lips. His dark, patterned shirt made some of the girls around him blush and look down. To me, his looks were irrelevant. What I noticed was the gold watch on his wrist and the luxury car parked behind him. But dreams don't pay the bills, only money earned by my own hands felt real. I smiled easily, my voice full of life. "Want to try a sandwich, sir? Delicious, clean, affordable. Any flavor you want, vegetarian or meat." He raised an eyebrow, quickly shedding his arrogant rich kid demeanor. He wiped his mouth, pushed through the line, and ordered, "1 deluxe, extra meat, extra sauce, and no onions." "Got it, coming right up," I replied, my hands still expertly flipping eggs on the griddle. He leaned his head slightly, his eyes glinting. "Smells amazing. You must be my little sister, I can tell you're a professional." Before I could react, a middle-aged man stepped out of the luxury car and quickly strode over, delivering a resounding slap to the young man's face. "Matthew. I told you to scout the situation, not to eat sandwiches." The young man in the patterned shirt chuckled, rubbing his face and shrugging. The older man then turned to me, his eyes softening instantly. "You must be Belle Zhang." I paused. "Yes, sir." "And you are?" He extended his hand, a heavy gold rosary chain dangling from his wrist, a clear symbol of wealth. "I'm your father." That day, I kept working, making 10 more grilled cheese sandwiches, 6 grilled octopus cakes, and 7 bowls of spicy noodles. It wasn't until I was utterly breathless that I finally allowed myself to process what he'd said. It turned out I was the baby who had been switched at birth all those years ago, the true daughter of the Song family. And the girl in the white dress standing in the distance? Just a misunderstanding. My father and Matthew waited for me for a long time. Matthew even ate 2 more sandwiches, stuffing his face and raving about how delicious they were. When I was finally done and stood before them, the man who claimed to be my biological father quickly took off the gold rosary from his wrist and placed it around mine. His voice was calm. "One look, and I knew you were my daughter. Strong, self-sufficient, a natural businesswoman. From now on, you don't have to struggle. Your father can take care of you." I couldn't tell how much sincerity lay in his words. 2 other people approached. My biological mother looked at me, her eyes brimming with tears, her hands trembling as she reached out. My daughter, my daughter. Oh, come home with your father and me." Right beside her, the gentle girl in the white dress supported my mother, her voice sweet as honey. "Little sister, mother is so sad. Don't break her heart anymore. Please, come home." I scanned her from head to toe, my gaze as cold as ice. That face, a younger replica of my adoptive mother, Sarah. I offered a thin, strained smile. "Sister? Since when?" People just call whatever they want. The entire courtyard fell silent. My biological mother awkwardly interjected, Belle, don't be so harsh. The switch wasn't Natalie's fault. You are both my daughters." I simply raised an eyebrow but said nothing more. Her hostility was obvious to anyone who wasn't blind. I was brought back to the Song family mansion as their biological daughter. The house was luxurious to the point of being alien. I had 2 older brothers, Gordon, 33, outwardly calm and reserved, the chosen heir to the Song Corporation, and Matthew, 28, who looked like a carefree playboy but had a quick mind and lively personality, the same young man in the patterned shirt who bought my sandwiches earlier. He casually mentioned that the company was busy, so Gordon couldn't make it, and he'd come to pick me up instead. "Come on, little sister." Though still a bit mischievous, his tone was soft and warm, as if to reassure me. Throughout the drive, Matthew continuously asked if I was okay, like he was checking on a small, timid animal. "Are you tired? Do you need water? Should I roll down the window for some fresh air?" I leaned my head against the window, nauseous from car sickness, only grunting a few perfunctory replies. From the other side, Natalie subtly raised an eyebrow, her voice sharp as a knife. "Belle, show some respect for your brother. Don't be so rude. It's disrespectful. Brother Matthew is talking, and you're being so dismissive? Mother will be so disappointed. After all, it wasn't anyone's fault that you got lost. Everyone has missed you. Can't you stop being so stubborn?" My biological mother, in the passenger seat, glanced at me in the rearview mirror, her face a mask of discomfort, as if silently agreeing with Natalie. I slowly opened my eyes, my voice calm but with a hint of contempt. "Mother? Which mother will be disappointed? The one I was separated from for nearly 2 decades, or the one who raised me with a belt? I was forced to quit school, cursed at, beaten, and had no money for the hospital. I had to scrape together my own tuition, sell sandwiches in the sun and rain, and I haven't even touched her yet. Don't try to use the word disrespectful with me. The fact that I haven't slapped you yet is a blessing." The atmosphere in the car instantly thickened. My biological mother stiffened, her eyes full of remorse. My father, who was driving, quickly intervened, his voice firm. "Natalie, your sister is car sick and tired. Leave her alone." Finally, someone with sense, I thought. Natalie bit her lip, turning her face to the window, her hands gripping her dress tightly. Matthew, meanwhile, subtly gave me a thumbs up, pursing his lips to stifle a laugh. Impressive, I gave him a small, reciprocal smirk. For me, this was just the beginning. "Father," I said suddenly. The man driving stiffened, then joyfully replied, "Yes, daughter? What do you need?" My voice trembled slightly, but every word was clear. "Sarah, she's gravely ill. She did raise me, after all. I'd like to ask permission to go take care of her for a few days." Before I could finish, Matthew cut in, his voice half joking, half serious. "She already has her biological daughter to care for her. It's not your place to repay that debt, little sister." I subtly gave him another thumbs up, out of sight of the others. Matthew, flattered by his sister's praise, grinned from ear to ear. My biological mother spun around, glaring at Matthew. Matthew, what kind of talk is that? Can't you keep your mouth shut? My father slowly spoke, as if weighing his words, but Matthew isn't wrong. After all, Natalie is her biological daughter. We just brought our daughter home, we can't immediately take her place by her side as well. Natalie's face instantly went white as if she'd lost all blood. I seized the opportunity, lowering my voice gently, as if making a concession. Sister Natalie, if you feel uncomfortable, I'll go take care of Sarah. Everyone should be grateful and principled. The gentle words hit like a slap, and the air in the car grew heavy again, save for the steady hum of the engine. Mother, father, even if she wasn't rich, and didn't treat me well, I believe a person should know proper etiquette. Thank you for instilling such righteous values in me. Just a manipulative act. Anyone can do that. I've been struggling to survive my whole life, am I really worse than some snot-nosed kid? As our coordinated attack ended, my father was speechless, his eyes a little red. She's truly my daughter. All these years, you've kept that spirit. Belle, you've had such a hard life. My mother softened considerably, her voice gentle as she turned to Natalie. Natalie, your biological mother is over there. Perhaps she needs you to visit. Natalie's lips trembled, tears streaming down her face as if on cue. Mother, don't send me away. All these years, I've been your daughter. Now, suddenly, a biological mother appears. I don't know what to do. My mother sighed, saying nothing more. On one side was the child she'd raised for so many years, on the other, the sandwich vendor she'd only just rediscovered. Blood ties couldn't immediately fill the void of time, even if she knew her daughter had been living a life of hell with her adoptive mother. In that heavy silence, Matthew suddenly mumbled, "Poor magpie." My father paused. What? He shrugged, speaking as if to himself. A cuckoo takes over a magpie's nest, you know? The magpie is the truly pitiful one, its nest stolen, nowhere left to call home. My mother immediately snapped, "Silence. If you have nothing to say, no one will think you're mute. Say one more word, and you're getting out of this car." In the end, Matthew was indeed kicked out. I used my car sickness as an excuse to get out with him for some fresh air. He clapped me on the shoulder, optimistic. It's fine, at worst, it's a 20-minute walk. I gave a weak laugh. 20 minutes? I used to walk 20 miles straight. He froze for a moment, the lazy rich kid demeanor from the car vanishing, replaced by a rare solemnity. He gently stroked my head, and I thought I saw a glimmer of tears in his eyes. Matthew's voice became serious. It's okay. Your brother is here. I'll protect my little sister. From now on, just hide behind me if anything happens. I tilted my head, the corner of my mouth curving. Brother, can I borrow some money, then? He burst out laughing heartily, thumping his chest. Of course, how much do you need? 50,000. His generous smile faltered. He lowered his hand, his eyes serious. Little sister, I don't like that manipulative girl who took your place either, but hiring people to harm others is illegal. We don't do those kinds of things. I looked at him, not knowing whether to cry or laugh. Brother, I'm taking the money to save someone. Is one Natalie really worth my money to clean up? 10 minutes after I finished explaining, Matthew was silent for a moment, then rummaged through his wallet, pulling out a bank card and placing it in my hand. There's 200,000 in here. Take it and save her. Don't hesitate. The Song family estate sat on a mountainside, a villa as vast as a private hotel. When we walked in, dinner was already served. Everyone was seated, waiting for us. The moment I stepped into the dining room, I met Gordon. My eldest brother wore a cold-colored suit, his slender fingers adjusting the gold-rimmed glasses on his nose. The gaze behind the lenses was as cold as a knife, piercing right through me. Looking at him, I could clearly see his animosity, as if I were an intruder in his territory. Immediately, Natalie jumped up, her eyes glistening with tears, her voice trembling. "I'm sorry, Belle. It's all my fault. Please don't be angry like you were when you got out of the car and demanded to walk home. I'll give you my place, my parents, and even my brother. You don't have to rush me out. I'll pack my things right after dinner." Before I could open my mouth, Gordon quickly patted Natalie's head, his accusing gaze directed entirely at me. "She's just someone who doesn't know her place. No one can kick my sister out, not even her." In my mind, only two words echoed: theater. The moment I stepped into this house, I was being unfairly branded. I straightened my back, my voice calm but each word as hard as steel. "Excuse me, when did I ever say I wanted to kick her out? My parents and Matthew were in the car the whole time. I got out because I was car sick, not because of her. Do I need to call witnesses? Or should we just call a doctor immediately? I'm worried she might have delusional disorder." Natalie choked, her tears not yet falling, unsure how to respond. I looked her directly in the face, giving her no chance to evade. "Why do you have to pretend to be pitiful in front of my eldest brother to slander me? Are you trying to sow discord among the Song family? People say a harmonious family brings prosperity. Do you want to see the Song family fall apart?" Natalie's face turned red, her voice caught in her throat. I slowly pushed up my sleeve, revealing the crisscrossing bruises and scars on my arm, old and new, layered upon each other. My voice was low but clear. "Gordon, open your eyes and look. This is the result of over a decade living with her biological mother. While she enjoyed luxury and lived like a princess in a castle, I struggled to survive, enduring hardship and a lack of family warmth for 18 years. What right do you have to stand here and judge me?" My parents' expressions changed completely, their eyes turning towards Natalie and Gordon with clear disapproval. I seized the opportunity, squeezing out a few tears, then calmly wiped them away, revealing a stubborn but dignified demeanor. Immediately, Matthew pulled me close, his arm placed on my shoulder like a small shield in front of me. His voice was cold, each word a direct blow to Gordon. "You're quick to scold someone before you even know the full story. Is this how you manage employees at the company?" The gentle question landed like a punch to his reputation. Gordon's face darkened, and he instinctively looked towards our father. Unfortunately, father didn't even grant him a glance. I lifted my head from Matthew's embrace, my voice light. "If you already said you want to leave, then do so decisively. If you don't dare, or can't do it, then don't put on an act and later turn around to blame me. Are you relying on his protection, relying on mother's kindness to help people, and thus trying to brand someone like me, who has nowhere to turn, with false accusations?" The words cut like a knife. Natalie stiffened, her expression visibly crumbling. Now, let's not be so tense," my biological mother quickly interjected, trying to ease the atmosphere. Natalie let out a sigh of relief as if she'd found a lifeline. Matthew pouted, softly muttering a subtle jab. "Mother is playing favorites." Mother glared at him, then softened her voice and turned back to Natalie. "Natalie, now that Belle has returned, the room that was prepared for her all those years ago should be returned." Matthew's face instantly brightened at this, his eyes gleaming as if he'd struck gold. Natalie, on the other hand, stood frozen, unable to believe her mother had said such words. Before she could react, Gordon quickly interceded. "Mother, we have many rooms in this house. Just pick any room for Belle. Natalie is used to staying there. What you're doing will only make both sides awkward." Just then, Matthew gently pinched my arm. I immediately let out a dramatic shriek, tears streaming down my face as if I'd been utterly heartbroken. The entire dinner table fell silent, all eyes on me. Matthew shook his head, collaborating with a regretful tone. One word: tragic. Wandering for 18 years, just returned home, and already being coldly treated, even her room has been taken over. He patted my back, whispering, his voice sounding genuinely sympathetic. "Cry it out, little sister. Crying isn't a crime. Cry out all the pain and sadness. It was the first time they had seen me cry like that. My biological mother forgot to scold Matthew, quickly bending down, gently wiping my tears, her voice much softer. "Don't cry, child. Mother is here." My father watched the scene, then decisively waved his hand. "That settles it. Butler, prepare the young lady's room immediately." Then he turned to Gordon, his smile faint, but his eyes like cold steel. "You should remember your place. If you can't distinguish something so simple, who would dare entrust the company to you?" Gordon choked, unable to utter a single word. That dinner was as heavy as a stone on everyone's chest, each person silently consumed by their own thoughts. The butler worked incredibly fast. After dinner, Natalie's designer clothes and handbags were moved out, piled in front of the living room door. I walked into my new room, my hand caressing the polished rosewood wardrobe. I casually tossed my old backpack and clothes inside, then delivered a final, generous blow. "I don't have many things, just this much. If you can't fit everything outside the living room, you can put it in my wardrobe too. I don't think the living room will be big enough." Natalie's face was ashen, as if she had swallowed something bitter. My biological parents weren't much better, their faces flashed with sadness and shame. My father handed me a bank card. "There's $1 million in here. Take it and buy more clothes. Don't be thrifty." Before I could thank him, he turned to Matthew. "You're idle all day. Now that your sister is home, remember to take care of her more." Matthew immediately extended his hand, shamelessly. "So, where's mine?" My mother didn't say a word, raising her hand to smack him lightly on the forehead. "Get lost." In my room, Matthew sprawled across the desk, propping his chin with his hand as he watched me fold clothes. "Little sister, you only have a few pieces of fabric, and you're taking forever to fold them. Mom and Dad said I'm taking you shopping for new clothes later." I paused, glancing at him. "You really seem to dislike Natalie, don't you? Did you know early on that she wasn't our biological sister?" He shrugged, pulling a random book from the shelf and flipping through it. "Man's intuition. You wouldn't understand. From childhood, I felt something was off. It was vague for years, but I just couldn't adapt to her. When I saw you selling sandwiches, it didn't take me 5 seconds to know." I chuckled softly, tilting my head. "So, our eldest brother, is he, you know?" Matthew froze for a second, then burst out laughing, even louder than me. "Don't tell me you guessed right." I was blunt. "It feels like you and he have some personal feud." Matthew snorted disdainfully. "I just purely can't stand how he spoils that manipulative girl. Every day it's brother, oh brother, singing like a hen laying eggs. It makes my skin crawl. Anyone who didn't know would think they were newlyweds. You'll see for yourself if you stay a bit longer. She loves to cause trouble, stir things up subtly, pretending to be innocent. She has some skill, I'll give her that, but she always uses tears to solve problems. And nobody in the Song family is like that." Hearing that, we exchanged a look, speechless. Even I, a newcomer, could sense it, let alone Matthew, who lived with her every day. Reflecting on how Natalie and Gordon treated each other, there really was a hint of something forbidden. The power of money truly was undeniable. Under the Song family's arrangements, I returned to school, placed in the top class of the high school division at Prestige Academy. The procedures were incredibly swift. What annoyed me slightly was that Natalie also attended here, and she was in my class. Truly a buzzing mosquito right in front of my face. On my very first day of school, Matthew deliberately chose a flashy red sports car from the garage, insisting on driving me to school. I swallowed hard. "Aren't you being a bit much? This is called a preemptive strike. Get in the car, I'll broaden your horizons." It proved his action was brilliant. When the students saw that the person opening the car door for me wasn't a butler, but Matthew himself, the tide of public opinion immediately turned. The roar of the sports car's engine couldn't drown out the buzzing gossip around us. Who said Beljean was an adopted child? Look, even a wild playboy like Matthew personally drove her to school. That rumor seems to be true. What rumor? Oh my god. It's about the baby switch all those years ago. Belle Zhang is the Song family's real daughter, and Natalie Song is the fake daughter, shamelessly clinging on and refusing to leave. Now she's just the Song family's adopted child. I clapped my hands inwardly. Indeed, worthy of a prestige academy, everyone was from a noble background, and even their gossip was incredibly bold, spoken loudly right in front of those involved. Natalie's face, needless to say, went through a spectrum of colors, from pink to red to white, finally settling on a furious pale green. She immediately yelled at the crowd, "Are you all just gossiping old women from the countryside? Mind your own business and shut your mouths." Next to Natalie was her best friend, Courtney. The clothes she wore were familiar, I'd seen Natalie wear them before. Courtney made no attempt to hide her disdain for me, glaring contemptuously, pinching her nose. No wonder she was a sandwich vendor. She smells like grease. No matter how fancy her clothes, she can't escape her common, rustic nature. Ugh, I can't even get close, I'm afraid of catching something unsanitary. Everyone around stopped gossiping, turning their attention this way, eager for the drama. When it came to verbal sparring, Belle had never lost. I calmly retorted. "Still better than being a dog. Those clothes you're wearing?" She thought they were ugly, threw them on the ground, stomped on them a few times, and then gave them to you. Yet someone still licked them clean like a delicious bone. How interesting. Courtney's face went white. She instinctively turned to Natalie. Natalie quickly explained, "Don't listen to her. She's trying to sow discord." I gave a cold laugh. Some people even had the labels cut off before they wore them. They thought they were wearing custom designs, so they had no labels. Little did they know the labels were deliberately removed. I happened to overhear her calling Courtney, fabricating a reason why the clothes had no labels. Courtney glared angrily at Natalie, then spun around and stormed off. Oh, truly, if you're pretty, you're a best friend. If you're a bit ugly, they turn their backs. That kind of friendship is as fragile as paper. One touch, and it tears. The bell rang for class. The teacher called my name to introduce me to everyone. I took a deep breath, walked confidently to the front of the classroom, and looked directly at my classmates. Whispers rippled through the room. "Is that the new girl?" "Yeah. Heard she used to sell sandwiches." "How funny. So she's from the slums, then?" I met Natalie's triumphant gaze. Not flinching, I gently pulled up my sleeve, revealing the crisscrossing scars and bruises on my arm as an unspoken answer. My voice rang clear, each word slow and steady. "Hello, everyone. The rumors aren't wrong. I did used to sell sandwiches at the school gate, 2 for 7 yuan. As you can see, I've come a very long way to stand here before you. I endured hunger, cold, beatings, and being thrown out of my home on cold winter nights. I often wondered why other mothers loved their children, but mine was different. But I never found an answer. In the end, instead of complaining, I stood up and earned money for my tuition, fighting for my own survival. Is there anything shameful about that? No. What's shameful is living off others, being unable to support yourself, not earning your own living through hard work. I don't celebrate misfortune, but I also don't bow down to hardship. Those years taught me about the harsh realities of human nature, things textbooks never cover. Now, I'm fortunate to have the chance to return to my biological parents, to have the right to be loved like everyone else. I won't waste that opportunity. I'm not here to ask for sympathy, but to learn, to prove that I deserve any position. The hardships I've endured will light the path ahead. I paused, looking directly at the class, a slight curve to my lips. Life is long and vast. Meeting each other is destiny. I am Belle Zhang. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. When I finished, I gave a slight bow. The atmosphere in the room seemed to flip. From curious disdain, their eyes softened. Applause erupted, scattered at first, then swelling like a wave. Even the young masters and ladies who had never tasted hardship had tears in their eyes. Our usually strict homeroom teacher discreetly wiped the corners of her eyes. The elite valued background and upbringing above all else, but at that moment, my confidence and straightforwardness made me stand out more than any rumor. Utter sincerity, it seemed, was unbeatable. In the eyes of the upper class, selling sandwiches was ridiculous, beneath their status. But Natalie never imagined I would proactively expose my past to the class, and that very act earned me respect. A direct voice rang out in the classroom like a stone dropped into a pond. Her mother abused her, and she shamelessly took someone else's place. Truly, a fitting mother-daughter pair. The comment ignited the crowd. Whispers swirled around Natalie. Her triumphant face immediately vanished. Natalie, accustomed to her manipulative tactics, had apparently been judged by her peers. This couldn't even be called kicking someone when they're down, for this was merely the appetizer. The main course was yet to come. Back at the mansion, Natalie suddenly saw an uninvited guest sitting in the living room. She froze, horrified. "Who let you in here? Get out now." Sarah raised an eyebrow, slightly surprised by her biological daughter's attitude. "I can't come?" "Why not?" Natalie panicked, tugging at her. Just then, Matthew walked down from upstairs, leaning against a chair, smiling like a cat toying with a mouse. "Oh, you two already know each other?" Natalie quickly denied it. "No, I don't know her." Sarah bit her lip, not saying a word. Matthew and I exchanged a silent glance. Our private investigator hadn't been wrong, these two had been entangled for a while. According to our information, Natalie hated Sarah but was completely controlled by her. For years, she had regularly transferred money to Sarah to keep her quiet, specifically instructing her not to let me appear. But paper can't wrap fire. When the string snapped, Natalie cut contact, and Sarah came herself to demand her due. At Matthew's invitation, Sarah had brought a few changes of clothes down the mountain. The moment she saw me, she instinctively yelled, "You brat, hurry up and carry my things." Matthew cleared his throat softly, and her bluster immediately died down. I smiled, my voice gentle. "The Song family needs a housekeeper. 10,000 a month. If you want the job, sign the contract. If not, the door is right there." Sarah and Natalie's faces changed color simultaneously. Matthew clapped his hands once, his voice casual, yet it sounded like a verdict. "The Song family doesn't keep useless people. We're only giving you this chance because you were Belle's adoptive mother. Otherwise, with your record, don't even dream of stepping foot in here." Sarah's money had long been gambled away. Matthew and I had discussed letting her work as a housekeeper. Wasn't Natalie trying to cut ties with her biological mother? I wasn't a saint. How Sarah had treated me still clung to me daily, my pillow was soaked with tears every night. Now that I had a chance for revenge, I would seize it. Didn't Natalie want me to remain undiscovered forever? Then I wanted them to tear each other apart. Sarah hesitated, looking awkward. "Being a housekeeper is fine, but I need a month's salary in advance." Natalie panicked. "I don't agree." Matthew cheerfully said, "Isn't it just a month's advance?" "Of course. Come on, Mrs. Zhang, I'll show you to your room." Sarah didn't care about her biological daughter's awkward situation, gleefully following him into the living room. In her eyes, having swapped the babies so Natalie could live in luxury was something that Natalie should be grateful for her entire life. That evening, my parents and Gordon came home. Seeing the burnt food on the table, they frowned. "Who cooked tonight?" From the kitchen, Sarah emerged, eating bird's nest soup while still wearing an apron. "It was me." Gordon glanced at her, her mouth full of food, her clothes disheveled. He couldn't help but ask Matthew, "Don't bring random stray cats and dogs into the house, all right?" Natalie bit her lip tightly, her eyes red. I seized the chance to twist the knife. "Brother, why would you say that? Aunt Sarah isn't a cat or dog. She's sister Natalie's biological mother. Look how much they resemble each other." It was then that Gordon noticed Natalie's unusual expression, and his bluster immediately deflated. Why wasn't such an important matter discussed with the whole family first? Aunt Sarah just misses her daughter and wants to stay for a few days, I said, intentionally vague about which daughter. Everyone fell silent, lost in their own thoughts. How Sarah had treated me was evident from the moment I entered the house, visible in the scars on my arms. Sure enough, that night, when I got up for water, I overheard my father whispering to my mother. "Do you really think someone as cruel as her would miss Belle? It can only be for money." My mother mumbled, "Don't talk nonsense, they haven't even met yet. Natalie is so innocent." My father scoffed. "I don't know what spell she's cast on you and Gordon. You two are so easily led. Your own daughter is back, and she's still not as important as an outsider. Belle was beaten like that. As a mother, has your conscience been eaten away? Other people want to compensate her in every way, but you keep saying fairness. They're both my daughters. Look, your beloved daughter is treated so well, but how is our own daughter treated by others? Humph. I know even raising cats and dogs develops affection, let alone Natalie being with us for so long. But if that girl had a proper attitude, I might consider accepting it. This way," my mother retorted, her voice filled with unconcealed irritation. "Scientists have proven that genetics only account for 40%, the rest is environment. I raised Natalie myself, while Belle grew up out there, year-round with Sarah. Don't let her young age fool you into thinking she's harmless, she might be as cunning as those street vendors." I stopped listening to the rest of the conversation. A chill ran down my spine, straight into my empty chest. Less than 10 days after I moved into the Song family home, Sarah came looking to borrow money. "I don't have any," I said flatly. She gave a thin laugh. "Impossible. Your biological parents are so rich. They can buy you a bag worth tens of thousands." I feigned surprise, drawing out my words. "Really? I heard designer bags like that hold their value well, can be sold for a good price like gold, right?" Sarah's eyes lit up. Before leaving, she warned me not to tell anyone about her borrowing money, especially Natalie. I nodded, smiling. After a short break, back at school, everyone's eyes were fixed on my stomach. Natalie whispered to Courtney, head bowed. Seeing me approach, both immediately dispersed. Courtney again gave me a scornful look. They reconciled faster than I expected. I smirked, beckoning. "Keep staring, and I'll punch you." Courtney didn't expect me to say that, stomping her foot and muttering, "Thug." I smiled faintly, my eyes narrowed meaningfully. So what? Still better than some tail-wagging dog. Struck where it hurt, Courtney couldn't contain herself. "Your shameful tricks, and you dare to talk back to me? So young, and already at the obstetrics department. Who knows which guy you flirted with while selling sandwiches?" She held out her phone. On it was a blurry photo of me from the side, with the sign for the obstetrics department in the background. I was holding a test slip, waiting on a bench in the hallway, but I burst out laughing. Looking directly at Natalie, whose guilt was obvious, my voice was even and sharp as a blade. "This photo you two painstakingly fabricated must have taken a lot of time, right? Next time, let me help you. TSK, so shoddy, yet you dare to use it to deceive people." I zoomed in on the photo. The slip clearly stated blood donation test, and the sign could have been photoshopped by anyone. Trying to use this trick to stir up public opinion? How naive. Limited IQ, even more pathetic tactics. The words made the entire hallway fall silent. Courtney's eyes briefly showed panic, while Natalie sat still as if it didn't concern her. Courtney was so angry she couldn't speak. You. I nonchalantly continued, "But classmate Courtney, I did go to the obstetrics department, but I was there to help someone else." I paused, letting the chattering crowd lean in closer, then slowly, I finished. "Natalie Song." The crowd gasped. Natalie shrieked, You're talking nonsense." I never went into the obstetrics department at that time. I only stood outside to take pictures. "Don't you dare slander me." Everyone exchanged glances. I found her stupidity amusing. Oh, so classmate Natalie can accuse others, but when someone accuses her, she jumps so quickly? So, you took the picture yourself, and you also fabricated the rumor about me? She was speechless. Someone said directly, Natalie's song is truly terrifying. Always scheming behind people's backs. She still thinks she's the eldest daughter of the Song family. Playing with her, you never know when you'll be stabbed. Exactly, her character is problematic. Right before this, she was hooking up with someone else's boyfriend, saying they were good friends, saying she was helping to manage his boyfriend, and ended up breaking them up. Yeah, that's nothing. Our history teacher once gently reminded her about her improper study attitude. She went to his office crying, then accused him of improper intentions, ruining his career and integrity for years. Later, when there was clear evidence and a friend stood up as a witness, she cried again, saying she was just sensitive and misunderstood. A friend couldn't stand it any longer and spoke up. Belle, you need to clarify this quickly. Who knows what else they'll try to fabricate? I believe you. I took a deep breath. Thank you, everyone. The person I visited in the hospital is the most important person in my life. One winter in 10th grade, Sarah, drunk, chased me out of the house. Shivering with cold, stomach growling, I trudged through the night, stopping in front of an egg crepe stand by the roadside. I hadn't eaten dinner, and I didn't have a single cent in my pocket. The woman making the crepes was in her early 30s, her face tanned but with a gentle smile. Little girl, want a crepe? I swallowed hard, inhaling the delicious aroma that spread in the cold wind, forcing a smile. I don't have any money. She gently replied, it's okay, consider it my treat. In the lonely winter night, the pale yellow streetlights cast their glow on the small three-wheeled cart. The steam from the griddle rose, fragrant, warming that stretch of sidewalk. Beside her, a little girl squatted, eating and listening intently to her mother's stories. She told me I could call her Ms. Kelly. Ms. Kelly flipped crepes while telling me about her life. Her husband, who worked in construction, fell from scaffolding and died. Her mother-in-law took all the compensation money and kicked them both out onto the street. She showed me her phone with a cracked screen. A picture of a little girl appeared, Lily, 3 years old, with 2 tiny pigtails, wearing a yellow dress, smiling brightly like sunshine on a winter's day. I don't need her to be brilliant, just safe and sound. As long as she's alive, I have hope. I listened, stunned. Was that what true maternal love felt like? Her tiny crepe stand, its warm yellow light never fading, became my refuge countless times after being chased out of my home. By age, she was only a decade older than me, but she offered me the same boundless compassion, encouragement, and warmth as a sister, even a mother. When Sarah refused to pay my tuition, Ms. Kelly helped me through those desperate times. I learned to make crepes. From techniques to tools, she taught me little by little. I never took payment for my help. Whenever I was free, I would immediately go assist her. A month before the Song family found me, little Lily, now 5 years old, was diagnosed with leukemia. The doctor said basic treatment alone would cost at least 200,000 yuan. I visited the hospital and saw Ms. Kelly, gaunt but with bright eyes, her smile unchanged, as if she was trying to fight fate with her spirit. Lily politely called me sister, sitting obediently on her hospital bed, coloring page after page of the secret garden book I had given her. Ms. Kelly looked at her daughter, her voice trembling but firm. As long as there's a flicker of hope, I won't give up. Even if I have to sell everything I own, I'll cure Lily. That day, I went home with Matthew, and that was when I decided to borrow money to save the child. When I placed the card in Ms. Kelly's hand, it was the first time I saw that resilient woman break down. She hugged me tightly, hot tears streaming down her face. Thank you, Belle. Without you, I wouldn't know what to hold on to. Consider this money alone, I will definitely pay you back. Later, I learned that on that very day, she had planned to end her life. Lily's illness piled up huge expenses, and Ms. Kelly herself had been diagnosed with a severe stomach condition. For the first time, that woman had thought about death. The money I brought her cut off that thought, forcing her to seek treatment, to start saving herself. But the moment I took Ms. Kelly for her follow-up appointment and went for a blood donation test myself, Natalie secretly took a photo. As I told the story, the morally upright heiresses in the class collectively wiped away tears. One girl clasped my hand tightly. "If Ms. Kelly and Lily need anything, you must come to me. My uncle is the director of the children's hospital." Another interjected, "I can donate money. Just one of our designer handbags would be enough to help that little girl." The emotions of the young surged quickly. In a short while, I was surrounded by their enthusiasm. I smiled, trying to keep my voice steady. "Thank you, everyone. Later, when Ms. Kelly reopens her stand, you can all stop by to support her. That would be a huge help." "Alright, it's a promise. The first crepe I buy in my life will be from Ms. Kelly's stand." Seeing Natalie quietly trying to retreat from the crowd, I quickly stepped forward and firmly grabbed her wrist. "Now, let's settle this matter properly." She immediately changed her tone, her eyes welling up, her voice sweet as candy. "I'm sorry, it was all just a misunderstanding. I only believed what others told me." I didn't let go, my gaze cold as steel. "Who was that person?" she stammered, unable to speak. I raised my voice. "I had the good intention of reuniting you and your mother, yet you two couldn't keep your hands to yourselves and tried to tarnish my reputation." I raised my phone, opening a surveillance video. It showed her and Sarah secretly standing outside my room. I projected the video onto the large screen in the classroom, with the volume turned up full. Natalie's voice echoed in the video. "You stole my bag, which was convenient. Why didn't you dare to steal hers?" Sarah's bitter voice replied, "Steal? What's stealing? You're my biological daughter. It's fine if I sell it for quick cash. Don't forget, if I hadn't intentionally swapped you two back then, how would you have this life as an heiress now?" Natalie snapped, "You always bring that up. The money I've given you over the past 5 years is enough for you to buy several apartments, but you never knew how to hold on to an opportunity. You couldn't even keep an eye on her." Sarah's tone immediately softened. Yes. Mother knows she was wrong. This is truly the last time. Help Mother just one more time, okay?" Natalie glanced at the empty hallway, her voice lowering. "Last time, I saw Matthew give her a pink diamond. It must be worth a lot." The end of the video showed the two holding an exquisite gift box, faces full of satisfaction, leaving my room. The entire class erupted like a marketplace. "Oh my God, this is shocking. It turns out she knew all along she wasn't the Song family's biological daughter." I gave a slight smirk. That pink diamond was a fake I had personally swapped out. It wasn't worth much compared to the real one. The day I moved into the Song mansion, Matthew had complained to me about Gordon. "I just purely can't stand how he spoils that manipulative girl. Anyone who didn't know would think they were newlyweds." Hearing that, he and I simply exchanged a look. A bold idea sparked: install cameras in my room and the hallway outside the door. This floor was only for Gordon and me. If there truly was something fishy between Gordon and Natalie, it would be too convenient for them, and for me. Unexpectedly, those cameras indeed recorded quite a lot. The clip I showed today was just the tip of the iceberg. The truth was out. Natalie and Courtney had nothing left to say. Natalie began to cry again, claiming she was forced, that she had no choice, but of course, no one cared. She had tried every way to prevent me from reconnecting with my family, repeatedly. Although the evidence had been destroyed, I would definitely repay that grudge. She had given money to her biological mother to arrange for me to be sold to a violent man in the countryside, something Sarah had admitted when drunk. "That girl told me to do that to you. She's truly more vicious than I am, but I can't believe you still escaped and came back here. She said she wouldn't give me any more money. It's all your fault, you replacement." At the time, I didn't understand who she was referring to, only assuming it was some merchant. Now, it was time for everything to come to an end. When the clip showed Natalie in Gordon's room for over half an hour, her face flushed, clutching her shirt as she ran back to her room, the entire living room fell silent. My father jumped up, delivering a thunderous slap across Gordon's face. "You scoundrel!" My biological mother trembled, her voice cracking. You still dare to?" Gordon raised his head, stubbornly arguing, his eyes red like a madman's. "We're not blood relatives." Many years ago, she had a blood test, and I was the one who picked up the results. From then on, I knew we weren't siblings. "Our feelings are genuine." Matthew raised an eyebrow, zeroing in on the crucial point. "So you knew she wasn't our biological sister all along, but you still wanted to deceive Mom and Dad, right?" Sarah sat in a corner, head bowed, not daring to breathe heavily. Matthew turned his gaze directly to her, his half-smile colder than ice. "Aunt Sarah, the money you stole is enough to file a police report. I can't believe we wanted to give you a chance to be close to your daughter, but you turned out to be a white-eyed wolf." She screamed, falling to her knees. "I was wrong. I was wrong. I was just momentarily confused. Living in such poverty in the countryside, I'd never seen so much money, so..." Matthew strode over, his voice deep, each word like ice water. "When Belle cried, begging you not to hit her, did you ever feel any pity for her?" Sarah trembled like a falling leaf, her eyes vacant, collapsing to the ground like a puddle of mud. As a result, Sarah was arrested for intentional theft. Gordon moved out of the house, and his management rights to the company were revoked. As he left, he still held his head high, saying, "No amount of money can outweigh true love. I don't want to abandon genuine feelings for mundane material things." I nearly vomited. Truly, too much comfort leads to madness. All these years, having everything, he never knew what real hardship was like. My biological mother, filled with remorse, constantly tried to compensate me with money, but most of it I invested. The person I gambled on was Matthew. He appeared to be a carefree playboy, but in reality, he had been secretly nurturing many potential startup projects. Matthew was practical and responsible. He understood that the position of heir carried the heavy responsibility of the entire family. In the face of family ties and the legacy of generations of the Song family, what was a twisted, romantic love? Previously, the whole family only criticized him for spending money like water. No one knew that money was building a company. In the Song family, the person I trusted the most was him. Natalie completely disappeared from my world. All I knew was that Gordon's protection allowed her to retreat peacefully from the storm. 3 years later, my investments blossomed. Matthew became the new CEO of the Song Corporation, his demeanor soaring, radiant as the sun. Gordon, however, returned in a pathetic state, his shirt wrinkled, beard overgrown, face hollowed, looking a decade older. The moment he stepped through the door, Matthew immediately struck a painful chord, his voice light as a breeze. "Oh, so the real manipulative girl gave you a cuckold's hat, did she? I thought love was supposed to treat you so well." The air fell silent. I sat behind, a faint smirk on my lips, silently watching everything unfold like a chess game I had set up long ago. Gordon could only clutch his head and weep. He had thought that even outside, he was still young Master Song, wanting to enjoy the glory brought by the family but not wanting to be tainted by mundane material things. Truly hypocritical and foolish. My mother angrily glared at Matthew. "Quiet." Matthew sneered, "A child who understands doesn't get candy." No matter how much mother protects him, he will never have another chance to turn himself around. Matthew didn't need to pursue him to the very end. Everyone knew that for the past 3 years, after moving out, Gordon had been living with Natalie. Until a few days ago, she suddenly dropped a bombshell. "Honey, I'm pregnant," she said coyly, thinking Gordon would be overjoyed. But Gordon's eyes showed not joy, but horror, then anger. He grabbed Natalie's collar and shouted, "Whose baby is it? Tell me now." Natalie was confident. "Yours, of course. We didn't use protection last month." Gordon let out a dry laugh. "I've been diagnosed as infertile." The words cut like a knife. Natalie froze. She had listened to Sarah, thinking that merely getting pregnant would secure her place in the powerful Song family. The moment she found out she was pregnant, she actively prepared documents. As long as the child was legally Gordon's, who the biological father was didn't matter. Gordon heard her explanation, but diagnoses can be wrong, right? Maybe there's still a chance. I believe you. He roared, his eyes bloodshot. Fine, we'll wait for the child to be born and get a paternity test. Do you dare? Natalie trembled, the word dare caught in her throat. Gordon took in all her expressions, feeling as if his entire world had crumbled in an instant. What else was there to explain? He threw his phone, smashing things. Natalie cried, changing her tone to plead. I know I was wrong. It was just a moment of weakness, I wanted to experience something new. Please forgive me. I'll get rid of it. Can we start over? You've done so much for me. We have to continue together. But it was too late. Blinded by love for her, Gordon had lost everything, family, career, honor. Later, as I sat chatting casually with Matthew, I narrowed my eyes. Natalie cheating on him, you had a hand in that too, didn't you? My brother shrugged nonchalantly. I just gave her a gentle push. If she couldn't withstand the temptation, who's to blame? I clapped my hands twice, laughing softly. I didn't realize you were the legendary wolf in sheep's clothing. Matthew's lips curved, his gaze sharpening like a blade. Years ago, my eldest brother listened to her and cut the brake lines on my mountain bike. Luckily, I survived that time. From then on, I promised myself that one day, I would make both of them taste the feeling of digging their own grave. Waiting all this time wasn't for this very day, was it? As his words settled, the air around me seemed to freeze. I never imagined their greed was so immense. Yet, they constantly preached about how money couldn't buy human hearts. Well, weren't they the first ones to be corrupted? Matthew had been the more suitable candidate for CEO. After that incident, he had put on an act of being a reckless playboy. In the end, that was the best disguise to hide his true self. We were both the same, we repaid grudges and repaid kindness. My brother looked at me, extending his hand. Belle, the day you came home, I promised I'd take good care of you. This family, I will definitely uphold. Welcome to my world, little sister. I looked at him, completely trusting, and gave him a radiant smile in return. Darkness is where I grew up, but light is where I will always strive. As long as my conscience is clear, the path ahead will naturally be brilliant.